Howdy there, chat room. So, I told you at the end of last Graps that we would be reacting to the Super Eye Patch Wolf video that talks about AEW because it was like a hot commodity. And he said some things that a lot of people don't agree with. So, I guess I'll take the time now to watch it. It's only 15 minutes. The last one that he did was like forever and a half. Felt like it was like an hour or something, 2 hours or some shit. So, hopefully, this is pretty good.
Last year marks the least I have been into wrestling in a very, very long time. It's a combination of what I see as like a creative decline in both companies, marked by some absolutely gross fucking political shit that I don't even want to get into. But recently, that started to change. And the reason it did start to change was AEW. I've been watching AEW since the very beginning, and like all wrestling fans, I have some criticisms, but for the most part, I'd say if you were watching AEW at its peak, you were seeing some of the best wrestling week-to-week television that had existed in a long, long time. But due to a combination of different factors, like the company being hobbled after Punk left, as well as just a fairly languid and uneventful title run from Jon Moxley, I just kind of fell out of love with the company, and it's fed into this larger thing where I just wasn't enjoying wrestling the same way I used to be. And it made me sad because if you've watched any of my deeply unreasonable videos, you know that I fucking love wrestling. But in the last while, it just hasn't been doing it for me. And I've also
What
been
the fuck
watching
is going on
sumo
with his
wrestling,
hair?
which is a different thing that I also now really like.
This is loud as fuck.
However, this began to change when something fucking crazy happened. Darby Allin beat MJF for the world title. The reason this is a big deal is because this is Darby Allin's first ever title run, and crowning a brand new champion in a wrestling promotion is difficult because so often it's the chase to
I'm
the
gonna assume that he
championship that is the
misspoke and
fun
this is
part,
his
and
first
then once a
like
wrestler
world
actually
title
gets the
run.
belt, there's a lot
Yeah,
of
I assume that's what
confusion
he
and
meant to.
difficulty in how do you actually make a title run entertaining. And I would say AEW specifically is not great at this. Look at both Hangman's championship runs, as well as pretty much every face champion they've ever had. Darby Allin particularly was a very interesting choice to become the world heavyweight champion because unlike a lot of wrestlers, Darby Allin's kinda little. In fact, he sort of has the demeanor of, I think as MJF put it, a school shooter twink, and he generally just doesn't really fit the vibe of world wrestling heavyweight champion. And so for a lot of people, myself included, he really had something to prove this run. Even as a Darby Allin fan, I was kind of looking at this run and being like, okay, I'm interested. Where are we going with this? And so, Darby Allin goes out the first night after winning his championship and has my personal first 5-star match of the year with Tommaso Ciampa. Just an absolute fucking barn burner, and okay, I'm interested. I start watching AEW week to week, and as I do, I start to notice all these different storylines. Like, take what's happening with Will Ospreay right now. Will Ospreay suffered a devastating defeat against Jon Moxley in one of the previous pay-per-view events. And the reason it was devastating is because Ospreay has just come back from this litany of career-threatening injuries, and Moxley's message to him was simple: you don't have it anymore. You are no longer a killer. You're not the aerial assassin. You're not even the assassin. You're just nobody now. Moxley then proved that by stomping the fucking life out of Will Ospreay. And so what does Will Ospreay do? Well, there's this moment where Will Ospreay loses against Mark Davis, someone he really should have been able to beat. And just as Mark Davis is about to
I don't
injure
think that's
Will
true.
Ospreay further,
Yeah, I was about to say, I think
the
that's
Death
incorrect.
Riders come out. John Foxley's H&M militia post-apocalypse cult friends, and they surround the ring, and they basically kind of protect Will Ospreay. And this results in
I'm
Will
chalking
Ospreay
that up
joining the
to
faction
accent.
of the person who had broken his neck. And it's this weird fucked up moment where it's like John's like, I can help you become a killer again. And Ospreay, feeling like he's running out of steam, has no choice but to believe him. And there was this really beautiful moment between Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay where they had both lost their matches and they were both sitting in the doctor's hall being like, is this the end for us? And it was such a like beautiful little moment between two former rivals, and it was great. In the most recent pay-per-view, Will Ospreay, who has now changed his wrestling style to being more in line with the Death Riders kind
Changed
of
his wrestling style,
grappling
by the way.
style, won his match. And afterwards,
My favorite
he goes to the
gaslight.
medical tent again, where once
Nigga had
again
an armbar.
he finds Kenny Omega. But now things are kind of contentious. Omega's asking him, "What are you doing with the Death Riders? How could you possibly side with those people?" And there's like an interesting tension to it, like we're building to something. But just as he does, who enters the hall but the fucking Grey Messiah himself, Jon Moxley. And I'm watching these three guys, and I'm like, okay, I am invested. I want to see where this is going. You could shake up these three dudes and throw them into a ring in any order, and that is a match I will watch. And it kind of hits me, fuck, like, AEW's main event level is so stacked right now. Like, it's insane. Like, you have those three guys. You also have Swerve Strickland. You also have MJF. You also have Darby Allin. You have Hangman Adam
Dude,
Page.
how is Darby
And fucking,
continually
I will say
thrown
it,
in this?
Brody King. I think Brody King is the fucking man, and I would love to see him get a run at the title in like a year or two. But then, like, it's not just them. Like, the women's division, which has historically been something that AEW has really struggled with, also never been more stacked. You have Harley Cameron.
Oh, fuck! Whoa! Whoa! You're lying! Fuck, man, what? There's gotta be reasoning behind this. No, I gotta go back. Fuck that. Don't laugh. Everybody shut up real quick.
No, I'm locked.
No. Everybody shut up. Hold on.
Not just them. Like, the women's division, which has historically been something that AEW has really struggled with, also never been more stacked. You have Harley Cameron, who is just a fucking joy to watch constantly. You have Willow Nightingale.
That's it. Your reasoning as for listing Harley Cameron first is because she does comedy.
I'm assuming he's going like, you know, like.
No, that's it.
We're
The whole reason is
building,
comedy.
like, yeah, but like we're building. Like Harley Cameron is just like the ground floor of the women's division. We're gonna build up to like the hard hitters. Like that's what he's going for.
Okay, well, what's he got to say about Willow?
Who just brightens my day. I don't like faces. I'm a heel person. I cannot help but love Willow Nightingale. You have Tekla, the toxic spider, who's just not even gonna get into what I like about. She's good. She's good. And of course, then you probably have the biggest success story in modern day women's wrestling, except maybe Saya Kamitani, Toni Storm, whose complete reinvention kind of cemented her as one of the goats of women's wrestling.
I got the money, the fame, the power, respect. Only talk if they cut me a check.
And I just want to.
So, wait a second. Shit, I thought you said you don't like. I thought you said you weren't really a big babyface person, and you just put Shirakawa in.
You just
there.
listed like five faces, right?
Something like that.
Harley,
like,
Willow.
The Shirakawa
Nina.
thing is just odd because it's just like when
No, four faces.
you didn't give me a reason as to why like Shirakawa was like your. Because yeah, Shirakawa's a good wrestler. Like I know she's a good wrestler. I knew she was a good wrestler before she signed with AEW. Like I don't.
Stop and say here, because people get so tribalistic about wrestling. I'm not saying that everything AEW is good. There's parts of it I like and parts of it I do not like. I think the promotion has a really bad habit of hot-shotting younger talents before they're ready for it.
Like
Darby
Darby
Allin. You
Allin.
saw this with Sammy Guevara. I think you saw this with Wardlow. I think you see it a lot when a young wrestler comes up with.
So here's the thing, right? You're talking about hot-shotting. The guys you just listed that were hot-shotted, they were hot-shotted to the fucking TBS or TNT title. They're not world champions. They were hot-shotted to the TNT title. If you cannot figure out how to make a mid-card champion work, I don't know what to tell you. Those runs died because, A, nobody cared about Sammy Guevara. You tried to... There's no context in that, right? Like, the whole thing is that with Sammy Guevara, they were trying to run him as a babyface when people did not like him. Sammy Guevara was literally their 2015 Roman, except it was for the mid-card. They were trying to make a guy that literally just broke up with his fiance after they announced his engagement and popped out with Ty Mello like a week later. They're trying to make that guy a fucking family man babyface.
Yeah.
So of course it didn't fucking work. And Wardlow, we can blame we can blame the guy for that one. He knows what he did. But the Wardlow thing, it was very easy to get Wardlow back on track. They just didn't want to.
Like a lot of potential, and the promotion is so desperate to be like, oh, this person's a future world champion, long before they've ever proven that that is a title that they can carry. Like, I love Bandito. I think Bandito puts on incredible matches. How people are unironically calling him a inevitable world champion, to me, is insane, because I don't think his character is there. And I think you see similar problems with, say, someone like Kyle Fletcher. Now, again, I want to be clear here. I think Kyle Fletcher is fucking phenomenal. I think the progress he has made in his character, in his persona since joining AEW is amazing. But I think his biggest advantage right now is still, dude knows how to put on banger matches. But when you really start digging down into his character, it just occurred to me that when I was listing out main event wrestlers, I didn't even say Takeshita or Okada. That's fucking wild. Sorry.
So wait. So
Soup and fucking Fletcher are two sides of the same coin.
I'm starting to hashtag notice something. He didn't list Takeshita. He didn't list Okada. He doesn't think Bandito's ready. Is there an issue that I'm starting to?
Oh, what? If you can't speak English, you can't be a world champion? Is he Stephen A-ing it? Is that what it is? Stephen A on fucking Otani?
That's the vibe I'm getting. All right, but it's also broken up. Nick's be like, oh, but he also said Fletcher, and it's like, maybe he has his ears closed when that nigga Fletcher's talking.
I mean, also at the same time, like the Okada thing is just because he's the undisputed, he's one of the all timers, like that guy, because he was a world champion in New Japan and has so many good matches and stuff like that, and also the character work that he's been doing in AEW has been a lot of fun. And thinking that they're further along is weird, because that sentiment never used to exist outside of WWE. I think because a lot of WWE people were not excommunicated, but they felt excommunicated during COVID when they did their whole culture switch or whatever, even the beginning of AEW. A lot of those people are now in AEW or in the AEW fan sphere, and that's what's creating these talks about who's ready and who's not. Because not back in my day, but you know what I mean. If you go back to 2000s Ring of Honor, I talked about this. It was either last week or the week before when I was talking about MLW. MLW's first world champion was Satoshi Kojima. Super decorated a Japanese wrestler, one of their greats over there. Takeshi Morishima won the Ring of Honor title. There's so many people that have, or so many talents that have come over and just won world titles in companies, and the language barrier doesn't matter. I know we're talking about wrestling on a national/international level, but it is on the company, and it's on the company to push these people further. And this is what I was talking about, right? Because I feel like if Fletcher had won, that was All In, right? All In last year in Toronto. That's when Fletcher got his shot at Hangman.
Yeah.
I think if Fletcher won there, this video is completely different. All Out, sorry. All In, All Out. They need to fucking change one of these goddamn things. Because I'm gonna forget. But yeah, no, I think the conversation about this is different, because he's saying that Darby winning is what brought him back, because Darby is small and scrawny, and then the first match, which was amazing with Big Tom, was also what got him into the run itself.
So then, what is it? Because maybe later in the video he goes into what he likes about Darby's
also Darby's character is that he gets thrown on the fucking stairs.
But he hasn't talked about Darby's character yet in the video.
Of
And
course
if
not,
that's like,
because I feel like this is very surface level, and he literally just made this as a knee jerk to say, "I like Darby, and I think that you should check out Darby." I don't know.
yeah, because it's like what in the last like year or so when Darby's been off of TV and gone and has had the most boring fight with the Death Riders that probably anybody has ever seen. Like, what about that makes you think he's over Kyle? And like, what it makes you think those matches are better than the ones that Bandito's putting on that he probably hasn't watched too many of, right? He sees people glazing Bandito, doesn't go on to watch. You like Takeshita, so you would think that you would watch the Bandito Takeshita match and see why people are calling Bandito great because he puts on so many of these good matches. But if you're not like watching it and you're just like, oh, I watched one Bandito match. I'm not really feeling it. I don't see what people see in this guy. It's just like, what the fuck is the point of bringing it up anyway?
It's like it's like me telling you to check out an artist, and you go to their Spotify page and you click the most streamed song, and then you're just
That's
like,
the thing.
based off of that, I don't know what to tell you. It's like, well, I mean, you can check out like an album if you really want to, like
Yeah.
you can check out like
Yeah, man.
an album, like an EP or something. No, you just went to top songs, hit play on the first one, listened to it, and said, I don't get it. And I mean, listen, that's the whole thing with like everything that's not like definitive being subjective. Is that you're gonna like what you like.
But then it's like you can't say. And I understand he's not saying definitively, like objectively. Oh, these guys aren't. The truth of everything is that these guys aren't main event talent. He's just like, I don't think they're main eventers. But then it's like, why, if you haven't put in the time to watch these people, like at least watch like 3 matches each, why are you saying that like, oh yeah, in a year or two, or like, oh, AEW as a whole pushes people before they're ready? Why say that instead of just going and watching and trying to understand where people are coming from? You know
And
what I'm saying?
and the people you listed, it's not that they weren't ready. It's that the time for them was bad.
Yeah.
Like you tried to push the Wardlow angle at a time where you were going through legitimate disputes with MJF about almost everything surrounding him. And just like I said, the Sammy Guevara thing was like you were trying to make him one thing when the fans could see what the fuck was going on behind the scenes.
Right.
So that was never going to work. Also, people just generally don't like Sammy Guevara. Like he has a very unlikable face, and everything he does comes off as grating, which is kind of why he's like used sparingly, even though he's a guy that's very much capable of wrestling and having like a match.
Yeah. But I don't know. Last thing before we can unpause, but it's like, and even then, it's like it's not like Bandito is about to win a world title now. People in kayfabe and probably like obviously there's truth behind it too, are telling him he's a future like world champion, and it's like they're saying the same shit he is of saying like it's gonna happen in the future. It's not happening right now. And I think that's when maybe that's the contention point of like he's like, oh yeah, people are saying like put like belts him up right now, and it's like we want him belted up right now because the matches are good, and it's just like, oh, the character isn't there, it's not the right story, and it's just like this is
stuff that you can figure out after doing it.
Yeah, and which is what they did with Darby. So it's
like Darby's whole like Darby Allin is such an easy guy to book because like I really don't like this Darby Allin shit because Darby Allin is like the most plug and play character ever. Like I'm not saying that there's no in quotations depth to his character or whatever, but it's very much a guy that you can just throw at people.
Yeah,
like you're gonna get invested in a Darby Allin match because you're gonna see this guy get brutalized, and then eventually you're gonna go, oh, I hope he wins, and then he wins.
Right. Yippee! I'm happy.
Like we saw this guy get his ass beat by fucking Sammy Guevara of all people. Like I don't want to hear none of that shit.
Kyle Fletcher. The thing I would love to see Kyle Fletcher improve is his character, because I feel like he's still clinging to this very kind of indie-centric sort of screeching heel persona. I am Kyle Fletcher, and I am the best, and I will beat you. And it's like, there's just nothing more to his character right now than that. And I think the dude's got aura, especially when I saw him come out at Double or Nothing. I was like, oh, we're doing something, ain't we? And I think if he
Also, like I get that, because that is a lot of like the indie, that is a thing with indie heels, like very much they're telling you they're the best, and that's like the whole thing there. What's the difference between when Max does it?
I also think that like he's missing context too, because like my intro to Kyle Fletcher was like I missed essentially the inciting incident that pushed him into being this like household AEW name, which was him fucking betraying Osprey and then shaving his head like a week later, right?
Same
Probably
night, nigga.
yeah, same night.
No,
I
it
would
wasn't
have
same
thought it
night.
was
I'm just fucking.
the
I'm
next
holding.
Dynamite or whatever.
Yeah.
So maybe he missed that part of like where Fletcher has been.
Well, he missed everything because he just tuned in when he seen Darby win the title, so it's like
And
he
that's what
very
I'm
much
gonna-
had to do the research to make this video instead of actually like, you know, watching the natural progression versus like us who have, well, for me at least, who I've been trying to watch. I've been watching AEW since it started. Only reason I even like was kind of put off by what was happening was because of the Punk situation, because the TV was literally unwatchable. Like the CM, which is where he said he stopped watching, which makes sense because the TV was literally unwatchable because the Punk situation, nobody could let it go. In the booking, it wasn't let go. When the Elite got back on TV, they were doing bullshit. Like, it was just it's a bunch of just nonsense. I don't know.
And it's like I know it's hard to tell people. Well, no, it's not, because like every other medium has it. So where it's like, you know, say for example, I stopped reading books for however long, and I read a book, and I'm like, I you know, say for example, I jumped into fucking Mockingjay Part 1 out of the Hunger Games series, and I'm like, I just don't understand what's going on. And it's just like, well, did you read fucking the Hunger Games 1 and Catching Fire? And it's just like, no. And it's like, you should read those. And it's like, why do I have to have homework to understand their character? They should always be telling me what their character is. Nigga, you missed like 7 inciting incidents, bro.
That's how you
missed
get Coco Melon TV, by the way.
7 inciting incidents and a fucking entire other promotions where, and even then, it's like, to me, it's like I obviously didn't go all the way back through, which is why I don't try to talk too much on the like whole Hangman and Swerve thing outside of what I saw or what I see, because I didn't watch all that stuff leading up to it, which I really should. I just haven't had the time to. But I'm not gonna sit here and talk about like, oh, definitively like this is what I think they should work on. I don't fucking know, man. And it means he's right. It's like you can't talk about he needs to improve his character past this and that, and it's like you can't say that I like his aura from Double or Nothing, or like, oh yeah, something is happening here. Yes, something is happening here. He's choosing to side with Don Callis again over a friend of his, which is consistently like a thing that he does of choosing Don Callis over people that he genuinely likes. So when it does happen to where he does choose somebody over Don Callis, it's going to be a big deal. But you're not going to understand it when it happens. It's going to be like, oh, now he's a face and now I don't like him. It's like, get the fuck out of here.
It's not even just that. Like, Fletcher's whole thing about him being the best up and comer, like, he has the stats to back it up. Look at his TNT title reign and look who he's beaten. Like, he's left he's literally left a fucking row of bodies that some niggas would blush at. Like, he's beaten Osprey. Like, did we forget about that? Oh, a lot of niggas have beaten Osprey. No. He beat Osprey. We're talking pay-per-view. I'm not talking about random throwaway Dynamite where Mark Fletcher, fucking Mark Davis, Jesus, just, you know, rips this guy's head off because his neck doesn't work. Like, this is a guy that beat Osprey on pay-per-view when Osprey was like the guy,
Right.
or when he was in position to be the guy. But we can just finish this up.
he is to ascend to that next level, he needs to kind of dig deep and find something real. He needs to find something that is like genuine, not to the wrestler, but to the person, and excavate that and use that as the drive for his character. Take, for example, MJF. MJF is
Fuck
like one of the
me.
most old school fucking heels you can imagine. He uses all the classic old school heel tactics, and he's just genuinely an absolute piece of shit and very convincing in doing it. But what is at the heart of that? And it's simple. It's something he's done a promo about multiple times. It is being this little Jewish kid from Long Island, New York, and being pelted with rolls of quarters because people are assholes. At some level, every monstrous thing MJF does, every piece of shit action he takes, it comes back to being that scared, hurt child wanting to prove that he is worthwhile, that he is good, and that desire just fucking amalgamating
fuck,
into this
Pinnacle.
absolutely diabolical persona. That's MJF, and that is why he feels real. By the way, I sometimes see people say, is MJF overrated? I would say MJF is just about the most rated wrestler of the modern day.
I'm only pausing here so I can take a deep breath. I don't have anything to say. That's, holy fuck, man.
Okay, I do want to touch on what Mimsy said. I hate WWE breaking kayfabe, drawing the real person, their characters. Yeah, I think, and this is like where the medium fucks you up, right? Wrestling, I am not that person. I'm not that wrestler, right? That's why I can go from good guy to bad guy to good guy to bad guy to good guy to bad guy, because it's not
You can
me.
also go to
I'm-
limits as a bad guy that you wouldn't like. Swerve is the perfect example. Swerve broke into that guy's house. While his family was home. Hangman on the flip side burned that guy's fucking house down. Like, the stuff they did in the match had to be unsanctioned by the company because they didn't want to be responsible. Like, these are the lengths that you can go to because you are a character, not a human being. It's also why niggas don't get arrested in wrestling as more often, I should say,
and
or
it's
for
like,
actual reasons.
talking about drawing deep and like you as a human being to play your character works until, like, for example, right? Kevin Knight. We were talking about Kevin Knight jumping to being heel and not really having substance for it. That's probably because he's taking that method level of acting with his face character of being like, this is just how I act in real life, right? I'm cool, I'm cocky, I look good, you know what I'm saying? I dress good, blah blah blah. And then it's like, all right, how do I play this as a heel? And he's not used to that because he's used to being himself, right? When he's, a heel in Mexico, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like I play to the crowd, and then they know I'm the heel because I'm fighting a guy that they like, so they boo me, and that's it. But like in AEW, being a heel, at this point now, it's like niggas are expecting you to put on a lot more than what is, I guess, the norm, right? So pulling from like your real experiences works for acting. However, in wrestling, it's not just acting, right? That's not just the medium. And it's like, yes, all of our things are like mapped out loosely and we improv a lot and there's this and there's that. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's not just acting. It's not just acting. A promo is not just acting. And if anything, having a fucking like concrete written down promo has been frowned upon in the medium.
You tell the Undertaker you writing shit down and you planning out matches, and nigga go look at you like you crazy.
You can't do that. You
So
can't do that.
that story always fries me. Where back when Dallas Page, back when WCW was bought, and they said Page came in because Page used to script all of his matches like Macho Man did too. Page started talking about all the shit he wanted to do in the match. They said Taker looked at him like he had 3 heads, son. And that was the end of DDP.
Yeah. So motherfucker, man. So I don't know. And it's like you can you watch this video and you can hear the Roman Reigns fan jump out and just being like, "Oh yeah, like, he's had multiple promos about his character." And it's just like, it's something to where like even that, right? Where MJF is mentioning his background and being bullied for something like that, and it's like, all right, that's his character, right? how do I, as a face, interact with that? Right? Because at a certain point, if the audience is just like, well, he's just lashing out because he was bullied, and me as a face, I'm calling him not shit. I'm calling him ugly. Niggas
Nah.
were calling him
Son,
fucking little
Mark
Big Macs.
Briscoe was calling him all types of shit for the last 2 weeks, man.
Yeah, like at a certain point, now I'm playing. If I really look at it, right, I zoom out a little bit.
So Mark
I'm
Briscoe
playing
called him
into.
borderline slurs.
I play into fucking being that bully in his backstory. Now I'm the fucking bad guy. What?
You
What
know,
the
this
fuck?
guy's literally a cocksucker.
Oh my goodness.
And so with Fletcher, I want to see him tap into something that real. I want to see him take that level of storytelling, come out into the ring, and not just put on great matches, but be like, this is who the fuck I am, and this is the kind of story I'm going to tell with those matches.
Wait,
I'd say another
what?
thing that
That's literally what he did, though. That nigga literally said, "I'm tired of living in the shadow of Will Ospreay. You will remember." He lit. Oh, I'm just gonna hit play. I'm just gonna hit play. I'm just gonna hit play. I'm just gonna hit play.
Yeah, hit play. He didn't see it.
AEW has been historically kind of bad at is the face title runs. I don't think there's any really like iconic face title runs that have felt good in the company, or at least that's what I would be saying right up until Darby Allin's most recent run. Now, it's weird to say that this was a iconic title run because it only lasted a single month. But I think a title run needs to be a story. A title run needs to be something with like a beginning, middle, and end that says something about the person who carried that title and the particular place they were in while carrying out that title run. And in the case of Darby Allin, he did something really, really unusual. Most champions tend to like have 1 or 2 matches a month and, you know, wrestle one big pay-per-view on top of that. And that's why they defend the title and move on to the next contender. With Darby Allin, he defended the title 8 times, twice a week for 4 weeks in just some of the most incredible matches I have seen all year. Tommaso Ciampa, that match, absolute contender for my match of the year. But as he's doing it, something starts to happen to him. Because Darby Allin, like, he's not the biggest guy. He's not the strongest guy. The only thing he really has going for him in universe is his toughness. He's able to take a tremendous amount of punishment and keep going. And this has been a part of his persona from the very, very beginning. He's kind of like a very pretty little mankind in that way, constantly getting hurled off things and taking these horrific bumps that really does make me worry about like the long-term viability of his career. But fuck it, it's his choice. If this is how he wants to wrestle, I respect the hell out of it. But that's the thing. Like
Killed
what
Gabe
I just
Kidd on
said,
that, by the
that's
way.
starting to
Gabe
get
Kidd
real because
mentioned it.
that's who Darby Allin is. That is how he frames his wrestling. And so over the course of this run, he's having all these fucking incredible matches, each one of them like this just war, this struggle. But then something happens. He's wrestling Sammy Guevara. He has Sammy Guevara in the sharpshooter. And next
Fucking
thing
Sammy
he passes
Guevara has him
out
dead to
because
rights
his body
and still can't win.
keep up with his spirit. He's losing it. And so when he has his rematch with MJF, you get this prime, perfectly in shape Maxwell Jacob Friedman against this beaten down, exhausted Darby Allin. And it's sad watching this because you kind of know what's going to happen. Darby Allin couldn't keep that pace, just like in real life, and he loses it. He can't do it, and MJF beats him. And it was like, fuck, does he ever capture the title again? Like, was this his moment? And like, this is something that MJF worked into a heel promo. Is Darby Allin like a flash in the pan? This is MJF's third
He said
title
this
win.
about
It's
everybody.
Darby Allin's first. But can he ever go the distance to hold the title again, or is his body going to disintegrate? That works because it's fucking real. You know, there's a genuine commentary on Darby Allin as a person and how he genuinely puts his body at risk by wrestling, but it's the only way he knows, and it's the only way he's going to succeed, and it's sad, but it's real, and that's what I loved about this title run. In 1 month, it told this kind of self-destructive story of this guy who is smaller, who isn't as strong as everyone else, and so to make up for that, he fucking burns his body as much as he can. And so when he lost it felt like a fitting end to that story. And now it's interesting because what does Darby do? Does he continue setting himself on fire, just like blazing forward and trying to reclaim the title that way? Or does he have to learn a different style of wrestling? Is he going to have to rethink everything about his character, his fighting style, his in-ring work?
I mean, we
And
know that's not how
if he
wrestling
is,
works, but sure.
what's that going to look like? But the thing is, either way, I want to see a conclusion to that story. Because, as I keep saying, there's something kind of real about it. You know, there's something at the heart of that character, of that title run, that I felt. And that's why, for the first time in a long time, I'm excited to watch wrestling again. So yeah, wrestling is good. And I remember why I like it now. Okay, till next time.
I mean, I guess, right?
Like I can't fully say that he's incorrect about the like enjoying the realness of it, but it's like you have to be able to take a look at the shit that's like also not rooted in reality and enjoy it as well. Like, and I understand that, like, you know, I sound like a hypocrite because like, oh, WWE is doing all this goofy ass shit, but it's like there it can't always just be like I only like this because it touches me, or I only like this because it speaks to me. Because it's like if I look at it from the lens that he presented in this, you know, video, right? The Darby Allin shit might as well be the most surface level shit ever. Because it's you heard about, oh, Darby won. All right, he fights niggas, he gets beat up. Oh, he couldn't keep up. Oh, Max said, oh, you might get cooked if you keep going like this. What was it? The fucking, it's like in JJK where fucking the one girl was like, yo, there's a calamity waiting for you, bro. You not gonna make it, little nigga.
She will
just
not
remember what I
survive the
said.
winner.
And then he loses. And it's like, you know, I know he said he's excited to see the conclusion, but it's like as far as like what we're looking at right now, and as far as like has been Darby Allin's thing, that's always been Darby Allin's thing of just like getting like this isn't new of like, and he said it too. It's not a new thing of him getting thrown through things and being beat to shit. And this is the first time we've ever really seen him, I guess, like at least I've ever seen him. Let me say that. I've ever seen him like fall over because of not being able to like keep up physically.
And that's the story of that. Like, that's the point. The point is that like Darby's able to do these crazy things, but because the rate he's doing them now, that's why he wasn't able to hold on to the title. The whole point is that MJF is right.
But then it's like, you know, he's like, are we ever gonna go back to this? Nigga, we're in a Kevin Knight program now. I don't think. And even then, the work rate thing is like, you like, unless, you know, maybe the Kevin Knight thing is a stepping stone to get back to Max, but like, I don't think Max is long for this world either. So I don't think.
Yeah, because Kenny Omega, or sorry, not Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay is on the way, and then Kenny Omega.
And he said he likes the Ospreay shit, and I could hear that in the way that he was talking of like.
Yeah, because
you know,
he actually
said,
talked about it instead of like brushing past it.
Yeah, he talked about of like, oh, like Will Ospreay had to change his entire wrestling style because of his neck injury.
He had to add an armbar. My fault, man.
So, and he wanted to see that from you know, maybe Darby as well, and it's like I don't know, right? Because it very well could be that that's something that they're going to talk about, where Darby might have to acknowledge that, like, you know, since getting back from Everest, you know, being shown my mortality in Everest because I've seen dead bodies, like I've thought about my own mortality, and I think he has talked about it, and then he did a bunch of other crazy shit after, and it's like you look at it and at a big picture level, and it's like I don't know if, you know, maybe you can speak to this more than I can. I don't think Darby's really changed much shit ever, really. But I don't know.
That's all I gotta say. Though. Hey, you took the words right out of my mouth, nigga. I don't know.
And it's, you know, maybe he can latch on to this Ospreay thing to like keep interest, because it's like I do want, you know, with all the shit that I'm talking about, things that he's saying, it's like I hope that you can continue to enjoy AEW, because I love AEW, but you know, the way that I think he's looking at it, I don't think that's very conductive to enjoying a medium like this, right? I do think the like Roman Reigns cinema shit has a lot of people fucked up, right? It has the Fed fans fucked up too, because we just saw it. CM Punk is like, nigga, I'm gonna put you in the fucking ground next to your father. Was that Phil Brooks saying that? No! That's CM Punk though. That's a character. That's what he does. He pushes your buttons. He tries to get you to react. And then niggas and fans alike both blurred the lines to where everybody's oh, you can't say that. Why would you say that? That's ridiculous. You can't say that about a dead person's father. What if they talked about your dog? And it's like, we kind of already gone through that. One. So it's like we'd just be retreading ground. Like, I know Larry wasn't passed by the time McIntyre was around, but McIntyre was essentially saying, nigga, I'm going to kill your dog. He all but said it. I'm going to kill your dog.
That
And I'm
was
going to make your
crazy.
wife
What
feel
was that
unsafe.
nigga's problem? You did all that,
is
and
what
Cody
the-
was beating you like a fucking drum, man.
Like a drum, yeah. What? All he got on Cody was some Dusty. I'm gonna burn this picture, and then Cody dropped it on his fucking bald ass head.
Nah, he actually did. He actually beat that nigga to shit, man.
So
Man,
it's like
this company sucks.
it's tough to always be like, let's stay rooted in reality, right? Because a lot of like, the more memorable characters have been people that have been like these larger than life, out of this world characters, right? We just saw it though. The whole like that's a dangerous road you're playing, right? The method has always been a dangerous technique to use for acting, right? An extreme example is Heath Ledger, but like for an example relevant to this topic with wrestling, Hangman Adam Page, right? He's always been like the fucking. I just no other way to phrase this. I really wish there was, but there is a way. I'll do it, right? He's always been on the side of the people ever since turning face. He's always been on the side of the people, the small guys, the little guys, like everybody, marginalized or not. Hangman Adam Page is your friend, right? And then outside of kayfabe, he takes a picture with a really bad person, and now I'm disillusioned. But if there's a level of disconnect between you and your characters, and I see a picture like that, everybody else can just be like, I'm going to separate the art from the artist. However, the art with Hangman Adam Page is that he himself is all of his demons, and he is his character always. Kind of, right? So the bad part is that if I'm always doing the method, and you do something to disillusion me, right? I can't get with it, right? To talk about Max, right? Max, you can see him as a heel and be like, I understand him because he got bullied. I also got bullied. I understand him. And then he walks into Mexico and he starts saying crazy shit about the Mexican people. I can't get with it. You get with that? Are you down with that? Nah, I can't. That's crazy. But you could also be with that because it's like, all right, that's absolutely not actually Maxwell Jacob Friedman in real life. So I can separate the heel work from the character. But that's not rooted in reality. That shit he's doing to those Mexican people is not rooted in reality. As much as them niggas will, have you believe, or like, oh yeah, niggas, he had to be escorted out. We had to duck his head and have him escorted out of Arena Mexico. Wrestling has always been this like larger than life, I'm playing characters thing, right? Do you think the fucking Mick Foley thing, you mentioned Mankind, right? Do you think all these Mick Foley personas would work? And they probably did do it on commentary. To where, like, all the time, every time. If niggas just no-sold that shit, is like, oh, that's just Mick Foley in another outfit. I can't get with that, bro!
I mean,
But if these niggas...
when he did them, that's basically what they did was, at the time they just no-sold it, and it was just like a funny fucking gag that Foley was so fucked up that he thinks he's different people when it's very much just Mick Foley.
But at a certain point, for me as a kid, it's like, well, at least maybe it's just because I interacted with it in a different medium of video games, to where it's like, Mankind's Dude Loves his fucking Cactus Jack and all these other niggas, right? But if there isn't some, like, for example, right, even with the early parts of, like, Gable and Americana, right? There's at least that one segment where that nigga ran into the crowd while Gable was there by himself, and niggas had that moment of doubt to be like, wait a minute.
Hold on now.
Wait, is that...
Uh-oh.
But that's WWE, so it's like, I need that larger than life, I can separate reality from fiction, if you want to call it that, and completely buy in.
Yo, that
That's
original
what
angle
makes
really was good for like 1 week. That's awesome.
exactly. So it's like, and that if we can do that, then why does it all have? And maybe he's not saying it all has to be rooted in reality, but then when he says things like, "Yeah, I'd love to see Brody King get an AEW title shot, but then I can't get with Bandito for reasons. I can't get with Fletcher because there's no character." When it's like, that's why this is the alternative company, because I have to go back and watch where these characters have come from to understand why they are the way they are now, right? Like
Yeah,
how I
after
made
a
the
while,
connection
they're
of
they're
like,
not gonna spoon feed you and give you all the
they can't do
facts.
it. They can't do it. That's how you drive people away. It's the Coco Melon shit. I've already seen this shit before. We're wasting time. There's other characters to build, right? You know, for example, too, like he says Timeless Tony Storm is one of the goats, right? But if you don't understand all of the Tony Storm lore, you're just seeing this character playing this fucking, Metro Goldwyn, kind of Looney Tunes esque black and white character, and you're like, all right, what's this? It's just another character on the television screen. But if you know the origins of how she got, you tell niggas, or yeah, you tell niggas, oh, Tony Storm used to be this fucking Jersey Shore kind of girl where she used to wear fucking snapback that was all the way to
Roughneck
the back of
killer.
her. Like fucking Ash Ketchum. Niggas gonna look at you like, what? Her? Her? This fucking what? That
He
don't make
was
no
a
sense.
hooper.
This camp, this girl so rooted in camp used to be like that. Like, no, no way. And you think about how like this, like come on, come on. I know he can do it, even though he totally torched Bleach. Like I know he, I know you can do it. Saying his love Tony Storm B came back with Darby Allin's title reign. She hasn't been here, so you are informed about her character, but no homework for other people you say shouldn't be in the main event yet. Yeah, because also Harley Cameron hasn't been here.
Son, Harley Cameron doesn't do anything.
She also doesn't do anything.
Like you're caught up to like this year's AEW, and you don't. Harley Cameron hasn't done a fucking thing. Harley
And
Cameron's
even then,
biggest
it's
claim
like,
to fame in the last 6 months was being Willow's tag partner.
and I definitely think Mercedes should have also gotten a shout if we're talking about like building good stories and characters, because that bell collector shit was so perfectly in line for a heel of like pissing people off like everywhere. Come on. I know this is a simple short reaction video, but like, dude, you have a platform, you're gonna fucking yeah. It's like people understand. Oh, I just made the video for it's for myself. It's not for people really. People parrot shit a lot. They
Yeah.
take a lot of things that they don't know about. Like, say for example, you're a WWE fan that doesn't really know anything about AEW. So you're like, all right, let me see what AEW's up to. And you watch the video and you're like, huh. Oh, well, everybody's been talking about this Kyle Fletcher guy, and they say he's really good, but he doesn't have a character. That's so weird. Why would everybody say he's really good? And then they just don't do any research into it, and they don't watch it. And you now created a whole bunch of niggas that are like, oh, who are my favorite wrestlers over at AEW? Well, I like, it's a fucking Buzz Lightyear gif of all the goddamn Buzz Lightyears. I like MJF and Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page. Those are my favorite
And
male
Kenny
wrestlers.
Omega and the Young
And
Bucks.
Kenny.
Like it's just yeah.
Okay. Oh, daring today, aren't we? Like,
Literally a Rolodex of oh daring today, aren't we?
come on. His videos got people into wrestling. I don't know why. I knew to avoid that shit. I was like,
I mean,
no hate, but I was just like, because I've seen it before with like, for example, like, Plague of Gripes, right, with his Naruto video. I watched that shit. I'm not even the biggest Naruto fan. I was like, all right, I don't think this nigga watched the show. So it's one of those things where I was like, as I was getting into wrestling, obviously I was getting recommended his like Cody and Roman videos, but I was like, nah, bro, I'll go watch 39 myself and go see that shit. Like I'll do my homework, right? And then I'll watch it later on, because I don't want to, just parrot somebody else's opinion of what's going on.
yeah, but I mean that's the reaction to this current state of AEW video. It's a 15-minute video, and we've been talking for like almost an hour somehow. I don't know how this is calculated on this little gimmick here, but yeah, I mean, if you enjoyed it, you know all the buttons to hit. And we will see you in whatever video we put out next. Maybe that tier list video if I ever get around to it.